Go to the next slide down so we can see. Yes, that's the one. Okay. Okay, let's start by the first slide, our agenda. Okay, that's good there. All right, again, my name is Natu Sissoko. I'm your trainer or host today. I'm joined with two of my colleagues, Salia Woodhouse and Aura Ray. So you hear it, Ola is the one that's gonna be running the slide. Let me say this, I greet each one of you personally and thank you for taking time from your busy schedule to participate in this webinar. I appreciate each one of you who's present today. Today, we're gonna talk about the key objective, key update, the minimum hiring requirement for educator policy, coursework and professional development policy, and the hiring for early childhood directors. Next, please. The key objective for the office hour will be to support educator and program leaders to understand and applying the minimum hiring requirement for educator policy to their current and prospective hiring. That means that starting last week or the week before, your new hiring will be done by the program director. We will collect frequently asked questions from educator and program leaders on the minimum hiring requirement for educator policy and provide guidance and high-level framing for EEC vision and intent for supporting the EEC workforce, meet and achieve the minimum qualification standard. We're here to support you, not to say, oh, we got you. Any question that you have or you have problem, deliberating or, using the minimum requirement, please send us an email to the TQ unit and we will work it out with you. Identify opportunity for future clarification and explanation in minimum hiring requirement for educator policy to support educator and program in fully understand and implement the policy. Offer technical assistance and more complex hiring decisions, such as those that require out of the country education and experience review. If you have someone who's applying and the education and experience is out of the country and you cannot meet the requirement, please reach out to us and we will, help you out, meet the requirement for that applicant. Next. Educator policy, key updates. Our policy goal is to increase flexibility for program to confirm qualification and hire, which means that we know that the current process for TQ wasn't working. Because of the backlog, we come up with this policy to alleviate the problem that the provider had. Before I say that, I want to let you know that BRC requirement and EEC essential training requirement remain the same. Those are not changed. They're still the same. Applicant must do them. You must meet background check requirement before you do any hiring. Process of sending teacher qualification to EEC is eliminated. Let me explain this. We no longer accept the application for teacher certification. We know that that process didn't work. That's why we come with this new requirement. Any application that was sent before December 6, 2021, we will honor them, we will review those applications, and we will issue certification for those applications. If someone have an incomplete letter from those applications, we will send an incomplete letter and the applicant must make a choice to respond to the requirement that is missing and we will certify them, or they will retract the application and go with the minimum requirement with the program director to qualify them. Either one will be acceptable for us. Program leader will validate teacher qualification at the program level to expedite hiring time, and will be required to maintain documentation to demonstrate their staff meet the specific qualification. This documentation should be kept on the staff file, so when licensors come, they can access them. All documentation must be kept to show that at the time of hire, the applicant meet the minimum requirement. Applications submitted prior to 12/6 will be reviewed, that I already explained, processed, and certified. Any application that come after that will be returned because we no longer accept the application. Qualification change. We broaden the way that program can determine requirements are met for new hire, including and accepting the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education license, provisional acceptance of unofficial transcript due to college backlog. If, due to the college backlog, applicant can provide unofficial transcript. Out of state equivalency, increased range of content and title for coursework. We will be less restrictive, more responsive way for educators to engage in preparation and coursework, such as allowing educators to complete most coursework prior to hire, but to complete some coursework within a few months of hire. Expand the specific common course that qualify for rapid hire. We will talk about that. Increase flexibility, considering the way that work experience qualify an educator for providing unsupervised care for children. We're going to talk about those later on also in the slide. For example, allowing program to count all direct work with children in programmatic leadership position in a variety of setting and role to our work experience requirement. Let me say this a little bit about this slide. We are here to help you reach the goal. We're not here to say, oh, we got you. As long as you follow the minimum requirement to hire your teacher and put them in the position they require, you're fine. If you don't understand, please reach out to us and we will work with you to meet that requirement. But we will not make that decision for you. You, the director of the program, will be making that decision. Next. Coursework and professional development policy. No credit bearing professional development policy. No credit bearing professional development must have been completed within the past 5 years to contour any qualification in the minimum hiring requirement. Anything older than that is not acceptable. At least 10 hours of no credit bearing professional development in one category of study might be counted as equal to 1 credit bearing hours. No credit bearing professional development might include conference session or workshop, formal education, online courses, supervision by family child care home monitors, training by consultant, ongoing participation in job, ambulate activity, coaching, monitoring, professional learning community, PLC. Education program provided for staff by the program leadership or technical assistance designated to increase the knowledge and skill of individual in order to prepare him or her to work with children more effectively in a program. That will count. Please note that for annual professional development requirement related to program licensure, at least 1/3 must address diverse learners as defined by and in accordance with CMR 606.700. Next, please. Coursework and Professional Development Policy, Continuing Education Unit, CEU Issuance and Equivalency Policy. To serve as a minimum hiring requirement for the purpose of this policy, the following number of CEU in the same category of study can count to our requirement for credit-bearing coursework with the following equivalency. I think all of you understand what the category of study mean. We have them for years, and each training or professional development hours must meet one category of study. You cannot take many categories of study and bunch them together. Those training hours must meet one training hours. An example, if it's in child development, all those training hours must be in child development. If it's in preschool curriculum, all of them must be in preschool curriculum. So these are defined as 4.5 CEU will be 45 hours of instruction in the same category of study are equal to 3 credit college course or university. 3 CEU, 30 hours of instruction in the same category of study are equal to 2 credit college credit or university. 1.5 CEU, which is 15 hours of instruction in the same category of study is equal to 1 credit. To meet credit-bearing coursework requirement, only CEU issue from the following organization can count. Again, to meet credit-bearing coursework requirement, only CEUs issued from the following organization can count: accredited college or university, Massachusetts Association for the Education of Young Children, MAS, AEYC, National Association for the Education of Young Children, NAEYC, the National Coalition for the Education and Cultural Program, NCECP, Selected Training Institute, with the International Association for the Continuing Education and Training, ISET accreditation. At least can be seen on the website. Those will be the training CEU or professional development that we will accept. And those professional development hours must be in one category of study for each required professional development course. Next, please. Okay. Professional development point, PDP, issuance and equivalency policy. In accordance with Mass Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, DESE, professional development policy, PDPs, might only be awarded under the following condition. The professional development is offered by the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, a school district, an educational collaborative, or a provider that is registered with DSE. The professional development must be at least 10 hours per topic. The professional development must include an assessment of learning. This might be an end of course assessment or an observable demonstration of learning. The professional development participant has met the provider criteria for mastery. Next, please. Coursework and professional development policy. Professional development point, PDP, issuance and equivalency policy continue. To serve as minimum hiring requirement for the purpose of this policy and in accordance with the Department of Elementary and Secondary Education, professional development policy, the following number of PDP can count to our requirement for credit-bearing course with the following equivalency. 10-hour PDPs equal to 1 CEU. 15 PDPs equal to 1 college credit, and 1 PDP is 1 hour of training. Next, please. Now we're going to go to the hiring requirement for directors. Educator in director position are responsible for the day-to-day on-site management and operation of the child care program. Directors must be capable of administrating the program in accordance with all applicable state and local laws, rules and regulations, defining and implementing protocol to ensure the performance of the duty and responsibility of all staff, and communicating effectively with children, family, staff, and department. So the minimum hiring for hiring of early childhood directors are, they must be 21 years old, have work experience as a lead teacher, mean after they being lead, they work to use that experience, site coordinator or large family child care. Large family child care have a capacity of 10. Provided in a licensed child care program or as a classroom teacher, administrator, or supervisor in a public, charter school, private school, or higher education setting. Have completed all 12 EEC essential training module and a minimum of 2 credit bearing hour in child care administration or equivalent. Next. The next set of requirement is the same, meet BRC requirement, all of the lead teacher requirement and 6 additional months of work experience, complete 2 credit or 3 CEU in childcare administration, complete 2 additional credit or 3 CEUs, completion of EEC essential, completion of all staff orientation within 6 months. No, not applicable. The next set of requirement is the same, must be BRC requirement, 15 months of work experience in a lead teacher position or program manager position, completion of EEC essential, have a bachelor degree or higher in early childhood education, child development, or related field of study, 2 credit or 3 CEUs in category of study 13, which is childcare administration, completion of all staff orientation, and within 6 months, complete a minimum of 15 hours of professional development in category 11, which is supervision or staff development in early childhood education. Next, please. The next set of requirement is the same, must meet BRC requirement. You must have 24 months of work experience, complete all EEC essential, bachelor degree or higher in an unrelated field of study, 12 credit or equivalent in the category of study, including a minimum of 2 credit or CEU in daycare administration, completion of staff orientation, the same thing, within 6 months, complete a minimum of 15 hours of professional development in staff supervision or staff development in early childhood education. Next, please. Okay, the same thing required for this set of hiring requirement. Must meet BRC requirement. This time you need 42 months of work experience, complete all EEC essential, must have 16 credit or equivalent in the category of study, including a minimum of 2 credits or 3 CEU in childcare administration, complete all staff orientation, and within 6 months, you must have 15 hours of professional development in staff supervision or staff development or supervision of staff. Next, please. Minimum hiring requirement for director. For the temporary purpose of the revised educator qualification, there is no difference between a director 1 and director 2. Licenses shall be considered in compliance with 606, 7.04, 17M9 if they meet the revised educator qualification policy or have been certified by EEC as a director 1 or director 2. Let me explain this. We no longer have director 1 or director 2. Anybody who was certified by us having a director 1 or director 2 certification can be hired and assume the same role than director 1 and director 2. So we're going by director level. Work experience content to our program manager qualification must include both experience working directly with children and experience in supervision of staff, fiscal management, or administration. So if somebody comes with work experience and some of them are working directly with children and some of them are in other position that we listed here, you can count those as part of the work experience. Next, please. Okay. Oh, we come back to question.
So I will stop sharing my screen, and yes, this is the time for questions.
To question and answers. And Aura, one of my colleagues, will be reading the question, and we will go from that. Go ahead, Aura.
Yes. Hi, everyone. We only have 2 questions in the questions and answers, and I'm going to go ahead and read them. And the first question is, how do we handle educators who are coming from out of state?
Okay, how do we handle educators that come out of state? If educators come out of state, they must meet one of the requirements set in the policy. If it's a teacher assistant, if it's teacher requirement, if it's lead teacher, or if it's director, they must meet one of those minimum hiring requirements for you to hire them and set them in that position. And if you have difficulty figuring it out, you can contact the unit and we will give you feedback.
We have another question. Can you please clarify what CEUs are allowable for lead teacher who may act as a director designee? It states only college level coursework here, but in the actual director field, it states CEUs or equivalent.
We explain the CEU requirement. We tell you all CEUs must come from those institutions that we listed earlier. And if somebody have those CEU, you can accept them. If the CEU is without those norms, please reach out to the TQ unit and we will review it and give you feedback.
We have another question in the questions and answer from one of the participants. And the question is, I have a space to open up a preschool, but I don't have a director licensee. Can I still go through the process of opening? I sent in my application in September 15. Will I hear back soon via email?
Okay. If you already send your application September 15, you're already on the pool because the cutoff is December 6, 2021. When we get your application, we will review it. And we will certify you if you're eligible, if you meet the requirement. And if your application is incomplete, we will send you an incomplete letter and you have to make a choice to return the requirement and we will certify you, or go by the minimum hiring requirement. And when you do that, you have to keep all documentation that put you in that requirement in your file. And also reach out to your licensor and go from there. And if you have a question, you can contact us.
We do not have any more questions in the questions and answers chat. Actually, we do have another one. For director level, if an individual has 42 months of supervised work experience and needs 16 credits, does the 16 credits include initial 3 child growth and development course?
Yes. But because if it's the director level, those 16 credit must meet the teacher level and the lead level, plus the 2 credit or 3 CEU for the daycare administration.
One more question here. Can I go through the process of opening a new school without director certification?
What they mean for director certification, if you want to open a school, you go by your licensing requirement. So we have minimum hiring requirement. Even if we're not issuing the certificate, you must meet the minimum hiring requirement for the director level, which means that you have to have those number of courses required for each step, plus 2 credit or 3 CEU in daycare administration, plus the work experience required. And those documentation must be kept on file.
Go ahead, Alicia.
I don't think we have any additional questions at this time, unless you guys want to go back to the frequently asked questions from the past couple of weeks, just to reiterate a few areas of concerns that we're still receiving from the inbox.
Okay. I have some questions that come earlier. Can I go with those?
Sure.
Okay. First question was, can a director withdraw an application which is already in process and make the determination independently based on the new qualification? Yes, they can. It's up to the provider. If they want to go that route, we will accept that. They can retract the application and review according to the requirement that is set and hire that teacher. The second question is this only for new staff? What about a current employee, an EEC certified teacher who is now qualified for lead teacher? Is that decision made by the program director? All hiring decisions should be informed by the new minimum hiring requirement policy and implemented by the program director, including for filing new position with existing staff. If an old staff was a teacher and they meet that requirement, yes, the director of the program can use determination of which set of hiring requirement that staff meet and hire them and put them in that position. But you must keep all documentation on that staff file for licensor to access during their licensing visit to see how that staff come to that requirement. The second one is to become teacher certified, you need child growth and development plus within 6 months of hire and additional class. Yes, the qualification for teacher level include child growth and development course within 6 months of hire or upgrade. An additional EEC course is required. The course can be fulfilled through CEUs or professional development, PDT. The next question will be, this will not affect anyone who already is certified by EEC with only child growth and development, correct? They will remain certified without only the one class. If somebody is already certified, it will not affect them. They certify, you can hire them, you can honor that certificate, it's valid. But if they're not, and you want to use the requirement, yes, child growth and development is considered. I have another question. I do not see the care courses which was previously accepted in substitute for the child development 3-credit course. Will the care course still be acceptable as substitute for the 3-credit course? Yes, we still honor the care course child guidance for the two CEU, 20 hours of training. Yes, we still accept that and we still honor that. If an applicant take that or have that, you can look at the minimum requirement, whatever one they meet, and hire them and put them in that position. And I have one more. What is the minimum age requirement for teacher qualification age from 18 to 21? EEC have updated the teacher level qualification requirement to reflect at least 21-year-old or have a high school diploma. I think those are the ones that I have. Anything else coming from the chat, Ora?
No, I do not see any more questions in the chat. No.
Alicia, do you have anything?
No, we don't have any additional questions.
I do have one. One just came in. If an individual takes the care courses for child growth and development, will they need an additional 2.5 CEUs in child growth and development?
No. The certificate from that child guidance is enough. We honor that as a 3-credit course or CEU. So they don't need to take anything else. That certificate is valuable.
Natu, I can just add to that. Because EEC allowed that course over the past year to help expedite hiring, we are going to continue to honor that course as it stands. So just to be clear, that course from the care course will be allowed to meet the minimum requirements for teacher level.
Okay, yeah. Come on, keep sending those questions. We still have time remaining. Look at the chat, Aura. Do we have anything in the chat?
No, we don't.
Question and answers, nothing, Kim?
No.
So if that's the case, I'm gonna move to the resources EEC website, Educator and Staff Hiring Requirement and Resource Guide. Minimum hiring requirement have been translated in different language. Education qualification packet, staff record and checklist and other resources can be found in different languages in our website. Oh yeah, are you coming? Hola. Yes, next. Technical assistance question. Question about the minimum hiring requirement can be sent by email to the EEC professional development at mass.gov. Let me read that email address. It's EECPROFDEV@mass.gov. If you're requesting a copy of your certification, please send the same email to that EEC professional development at mass.gov email. Please make sure that in the subject line you put copy of certification, include your full name, your date of birth, your PQR number, and at least the 4 last digit of your social security number, and we will email you your certificate. Applicant status. Send email to the same email address. Please put in the subject line application status, including the same, your full name, date of birth, PQR number, and the last 4 digits of your social security number. Indicate whatever your application was email or mail it. If your application was mail it, you fine. If it's email it and it's different than the email that you're emailing us, please add that email address. Reset PQR login or password or merge duplicate profile. Please submit requests to the EEC help desk using HTTP. Oh, yeah, the same request for EEC. I'll have to read that. You can find that online. Next, please. Oh,
Okay, and that's the end.
our last one, 42. Any other question coming in?
No, we don't have any more questions in the chat.
Okay. I think we will stop here. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much for participating in this webinar. We appreciate your time. Thank you again. Thank you again. We'll see you in next training. Goodbye. Thank you for coming.
Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.
I thought I saw another question come
Oh,
in.
you see one?
Maybe not though. Maybe not.
I think they're saying thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
Bye.
Okay, take care.